And go.
Okay, so for real, I'm posting this video. Alright, so I have taken everything off my pole. That's my cheaters. Cheaters don't come off. It's just easier that way. If I do an inspection and your cheaters are kind of looking bad, I'll tell you. I won't, like give you a bad grade on it. But other than that, I have taken my tips off and noticed that there is no tape on them. Okay? I have all the tape taken off. Some of your tips that have they're just super glued on there. I can't get it off. So if there's tape underneath your tape, there's a reason why. I tried forever to get it off. So it's okay. Just tape over. Then we have our 2 bolts, a small one and a big one. Our silk electrical tape. I get mine at Hey Dad's in Mumford next to Nafy's. Theirs is $1.09 a roll. You can normally get it at Home Depot, Walmart, anything that sells a home improvement plumbing section. And scissors. We have to have scissors because I don't like pulled tape. It doesn't look pretty, it doesn't look nice. So scissors, always scissors. We are going to start with our tip, not our butt. So our tip is going to be the farthest away from the cheaters. When you're doing this, in your tip goes the longest bolt, okay? So it's going to be the heaviest one and the longest one goes right in there. From there, you're going to make an X about 1 inch onto the pole, wrapping around to the other side onto 1 inch onto the pole. So we're going to start right here, about 1 inch onto the pole, nice and tight, onto the other side. We're going to press it down, make sure it sticks really good, and then we're going to cut it with our scissors. Snip. It takes less time to pick up a pair of scissors, and it makes it look a lot nicer than stretching and pulling it. You have that the weird tape. So we use scissors. All right, now we're going to make it perpendicular or into a cross shape, starting about 1 inch onto the pole, nice and tight, wrapping it around, and we're pushing it onto the pole again and cutting. All right, so we have our bolt in. We tape it so that when we spin and when we catch stuff, you don't hear go clink, clink, clink. See what I mean? Doesn't really make any noise. So make sure you tape it because that clinking noise is, I can't stand it. So make sure you tape it. From here, we have our silks. Now most of your silks have a long end and a short end. So it kind of goes whoop.
I didn't see that hand gesture.
It goes whoop. And it makes a little teardrop shape. So what you're going to have to do, if you don't have this tag on your silk, you're going to have to figure out which end of the silk has that long end. Now you do that by pulling it up to your body. Make sure you're grabbing, equally, and pulling it up. And see, right here, this is my tail end. This goes on the bottom, okay? Now, if you have a silk and you're lucky and you have this tag, the tag goes on the bottom. So the tag end will go on first. And put it on. And then you should have about this much space in between your bolt and the silk. That is where you will start to tape. Where did I put my tape? There it is. All right, so from here, you're going to take your tape and put it half on the silk, half on the pole. So that way it just keeps it a little bit sturdy as you're starting. So it's half on and half off. And then you're gonna pull tight. Tightness is what keeps it all nice and still, and it doesn't just slip out every 5 seconds out of that tape. All right, so I've wrapped it around once. From here, you're gonna kind of mummify it down to about another half width onto the silk, and you're gonna come up again to make sure it comes up to the tip of the pole. And then from there, you're gonna cut it. All right, so there's the top of our silk onto the pole. From here, you do your tab. With your tab, your silk has this line in it of so you can tell how straight it is. You don't want it twisted because it's going to wrap and it's not going to look nice and pretty. So you want to make sure that line is telling you, hey, my silk's all nice and straight. And from there, I'm not pulling it and making it really tight. I've just stretched it out so there's not any wrinkles in it. All right, from there, you're going to take your tape and we're gonna do the half on the pull, half on the silk again. So I'm making sure my silk is all nice and straight. I'm not pulling on it. I'm going half on and half off. All right. And then from there, I can wrap it around, make sure it stays on. And then we're gonna do the same mummify. We're gonna go up half of width of tape. Make sure every now and then you'll get some weird wrinkles. Make sure you take them out because wrinkles are not your friend. And then we're gonna go down half the width again. So we're down and wrapping around. And once you get back on top, that's when you cut it. So you should be wrapped 3 times, cutting it, and we're smushing it down. All right, so there's your tab. All nice and tight, you're good to go. So from here, you're gonna take one of your tips and put it on. And then from there, you're going to make an X just like you did with the bolt. It's gonna go 1 inch onto the tip. So it's gonna go 1 inch on, straight across, and 1 inch onto the other side. And then we're cutting it. All right, and then we're making the X, so it's going to go in the middle, straight across. All right, down 1 inch onto this side now, and we're cutting it. All right, from here, you're going to fill in these little blank spaces. So you're gonna make a star. It's gonna come across, and then it's going to hit this other empty space right here and cover it up. Smush it down, and then you have one more time. Make sure it's covering. There's no exposure of your tip. And we're cutting it. All right, the reason why we do this is so that your tip doesn't come apart. It will crack and your pole will be exposed. So to protect our equipment and to keep it lasting a long time, we tape it and make sure it's all nice and pretty. So from here, I've laid a piece of tape along the top, and you're going to mummify it straight down, like you're wrapping up a mummy. So it's gonna come across, and then you're gonna start pulling it down. Make sure there's no exposed. And once you get right here, you're gonna do half onto the silk. So we're gonna pull half on, all the way around, and then we're gonna cut it so it's all nice and pretty. Oh. And then we are going to take it and pat it down all really nice and pretty. So you have the top of your pole done. All right, so we're moving on to the butt. I'm going to have to switch to white tape because I have ran out of black tape. So, yet again though, little bolt goes in the bottom. So your smallest bolt will always go into the bottom to make sure your pole is not off weighted. From there, you will take your tape and we're gonna do that X position we did earlier. So it's gonna go half onto the pole, straight across, pulling nice and tight, and about 1 inch onto the other side. All right, and we're doing another X, so it's gonna go perpendicular to make a cross onto the other side, nice and tight. Make sure it's smushed down so it's actually sticking to the pole. And then from here, all you have to do is put on your tip. Now, once we have our tip on, we're gonna do like we did earlier. We're gonna do the star position. So it's gonna go 1 inch, or yeah, 1 inch on to the tip. Nice and tight, straight across around to the other side. And now we're going to go in an X position. So it's gonna start in an X, nice and pretty, straight to the other side. All right, and now we're filling in these gaps. So it's gonna make that pretty star shape. Make sure all the exposed tip is covered. One last time. Straight across. Covering up that exposed piece. All right, and we're gonna start up at the top and mummify it down. And we're gonna do the half on the pole, half on the tip. All right, and we're cutting it. And with that extra piece, we're just smushing it down. Make sure it gets enough heat, rub it a little bit and smush it down. And you have your pole completely taped. Your cheaters should not come off, like I said. If there happens to, like, they get really gross or they're starting to peel off, it will divide your pole into 3s from your tab to your tip, your butt. So it's divided into 3. So if you take a tape measure, put it from your tip all the way down to your butt, divide that by 3, your cheaters go in between 1 and 2 and 2 and 3. All right, so you're gonna need, it's not gonna be perfect, I understand, but you're gonna need to learn this because we're gonna have inspections. This is gonna keep our equipment nice and pretty, and we won't have to constantly be buying stuff, so we can actually get some, cooler stuff as seasons go. And on top of it, it's a grade. So you're gonna wanna, have electrical tape. If you have white tips on your pole right now, you will need white tape. But if you have black tips on your pole right now, you will need black tape and a pair of scissors. So always make sure you bring this to clinics, to camp, to in-school practices, to after-school practices. Make sure you have it. Other than that, I will see you soon in the summer. Bye, ladies.